now, at this point in life, do you regret signing to Bad Boy?
No, not at all. Because we had a standard contract. Our contract wasn't different from most MCs that had it. And you got to go through trials and tribulations. And that's like, who wouldn't go to the Chicago Bulls of rap?
I mean, they were hot at that point.
They were the Chicago Bulls of rap, basically. Like, you know. So who wouldn't? And especially coming from a place where you're hustling.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make an opportunity to eventually get away from hustling and not have to be in that position. But until you feel comfortable and you get acclimated as an MC, a group, a rapper, whatever it may be, you're still on.
The Touré show. Okay, though. The Touré show. Okay, though.
That might be the best question I've ever been asked.
You're a phenomenal person. I mean, you legendary.
I am a fan of you, my brother.
My man Styles P from The Lox is on his final solo album. He's spending a lot of time talking about juices for life and his pharmacy for life. He's got a whole wellness business on the side. It's actually not on the side in his life right now, but he's still an MC, and we have an amazing conversation about the difference between rapping and MCing, about first falling in love with hip-hop, and what actually happened in Puff's office when he went in and said, yo, our contract is way too messed up. It's a great conversation with a great legendary rapper. Let's get it. It's Styles P from The Lox on Touré Show. So I think one of the great moments of your career was that VERZUZ that y'all did. Because, so many great moments, but like everybody's cooped up.
Yeah.
Everybody was looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And it really had, like a lot of those verses, it was like a charity match. Like, we're not going to kill each other. Who knows who won?
Yeah.
That one, it was definitely like, Lox is killing him. Dipset's getting mad. It's getting chippy. There was clearly a moment where it's like, okay, so this is over, right? How did that feel for you on stage going through that?
Just enjoying the moment. Like you say, everyone was cooped up. It was, it felt like we was inside forever.
Yes.
Like, there had been no live events. It's an event happening at Madison Square Garden. Like you say, all the other verses had kind of been real cool and like,
kumbaya.
Yeah, like which I would say the Gucci and
the
Gucci and Jeezy was a little more, but for the most part, and no one really was performing. It's like they was performing,
right,
but cool. Like we had in our mind that we didn't grasp the gratitude of, the magnitude of what it would end up like.
Oh, you didn't?
No, we never. I didn't think it would be a thing in hip hop afterwards, like, you know what I mean? But it was our intention to just show people how we perform.
Right.
And what we do when it's what you're supposed to do in hip hop when you're up against someone. Like,
when you're going into that, are you like, so we got these records and we know them.
Yeah.
They got these records. Their catalog is not our catalog.
Yeah, well, it was funny because most of the younger generation are looking at it the opposite way. Dipset's more popular, I would say, with the younger generation and their flamboyancy and their swag, and people wanted to be like that. So the internet people, the younger generation was leaning more to, they was thinking we was going to get our ass kicked. So our peers in our older generation, we knew that knew about our history, the amount of rap, things we've been through, rap beefs we've been through, how we rhyme in the studio, just how we live. The elder generation kind of understood who we were.
Right.
The younger didn't. So it was, and then you got to understand, besides being a Lox, they knew Chic as a solo. They knew Styles as a solo. They knew Kiss as a solo.
Yeah.
They knew D-Block, but a lot of them didn't even understand what the Lox were. So that was something we did take into consideration and understood going in. And also what you said about, all right, this is their catalog, this is our catalog. if they play this, we're gonna play this. If they do that, we're gonna do that. It was more of a studying your craft, really.
Did you go into it feeling like an underdog? Or
No, we always felt very confident about it.
Yeah.
It was more so of knowing what the other people thought. Like it was more so after a minute, it was like, oh wow, I didn't, okay. I see a lot of people. We see a lot of people don't know, like, you know what I mean, as far as the the younger generation. So it was more so it gave us a chippier feeling, but we did understand though, it's at Madison Square Garden. Yonkers is Westchester County, even though we're the next after the Bronx, attached to the Bronx, basically, and people's eyes, all they're gonna know is they're from Harlem, it's closer to downtown. So it was certain elements in play that we kind of understood and we knew what we had to do.
So wait, when Kiss was doing, was it 2 Guns Up? That's the moment that everyone's like, okay, so this just ended. And did you feel that while you're going through it? Like,
well, seeing people's expression, like when you're on stage, you're taking in what the crowd's, their energy and what their facial expressions and how they're feeling. So we went into it. Before we walk out, we got in our mind that we won.
Right.
You have to have a certain amount of confidence, or if you don't, say something goes wrong and you don't feel that confident, it's going to keep going wrong.
Right.
If you feel extremely confident and something goes wrong, you're still going to continue to do what you do. You're going to be like, all right, I mean, it slipped a little here, but we'll pick it back up. So we went in pretty much very, very confident. And what we know is we perform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's one thing we do. We perform.
Before we started, we were talking about you rhyming in the studio, and you said something really interesting that you and all you guys in Lucky, you don't punch, by which a lot of rappers, if you miss a line, you can come back in and just do one line in the verse.
Yeah.
Some people say they don't punch as that they do the whole verse.
Yeah.
Or nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Punching just
I could get I could do 14 out of a 16 or 22 out of a 24. If I mess up on that last bar, bring it back to the beginning.
You want to do it all in a single take, the whole verse.
Yeah. Because you want to have that feeling. You want the verse to have that feeling. When you're listening, I want you to have a feeling. Now, technically nowadays they could fix that up and you still receive the feeling, but subconsciously you may feel things on another level because it's coming from the gut. And you may not know that, but that's why some of it is like, oh, yeah, I rock with them because one, we're giving you that energy. We're going to give you that energy, and it just kind of, it makes it easier for you as a performer too. So when you're actually going to go perform what you're doing, you know you can say it all. You don't have to worry about, think about it. If you didn't say it all from the beginning and you had to punch and you can get wordy, when it comes to showtime, you can't, you're gonna have to practice a lot, or most likely you're not gonna nail that line 100%, which nobody nails everything 100% all the time, but you wanna have your probability of nailing it maximized. Like you wanna know, all right, 90%, 95% of the time I'm gonna nail this shit because I know it.
And that might, and saying no punching, that might mean you did it in one take. It might mean it takes 100 takes.
Yeah, there's no specific time of it. Like there's days I've been in the booth and out one take. There's times I've been in the booth like close to 100 takes. Like, you know what I mean? There's times I've been in the booth all day doing a song. So it's not like it's practice. It's part of the craft.
Yeah.
It's part of the craft, but it doesn't always, for me, I don't always nail it right away.
And no pen and paper.
No pen and paper. And
you don't write the lyrics in your phone or whatever.
No.
You just think of it and
just keep saying it over and over. My way of not writing came out of more of a handicap, to be honest with you.
What do you mean?
Well, when I was younger, I would write a rhyme, but I have an offbeat, on-beat flow. So I would look at the paper and I couldn't remember exactly how I said it. And then at the same time, I had a stock job, hustling. just running all over the place. So to write a rhyme and go back and look at it, I couldn't do that as a youngin' the way I would want to. I would always have a problem. So it just became easier for me to memorize what I said. And now I have the feeling of it. It's like I'm saying the first line over and over and over. I'm thinking of the second line. By the time the second line comes, I already know how I want to say the first line. It's embedded in my head. I've played with the cadence. I've played with the rhythm. And I keep repetition. I'm saying it repetitiously until I get to the next line.
And just keep, I would worry that I would forget.
I would probably forget if I wrote it. Like, I admire people who write. Like, I don't view the non-writing thing how everybody else views it. However you get to the end goal is how you get there. Doesn't matter if you're writing, not writing. But I would imagine to write, I would have more freedom of I don't know, just being able to make replacement words in case you don't like something. Because sometimes in my head, if I don't like something, what'll happen is now sometimes I may get 8 bars in, not like something, not have found the right choices to go with what I want, so now I have to go make something different. I would assume with writing, you have more of a freedom of figuring it out at some point.
I mean, I've heard people say it's easier to mesh the words and the rhythm if you don't write it down.
I believe it would, but I think it's easier to mesh, but I believe you would have more choices writing. Like, you know what I mean? I believe you, writing a book was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life.
Okay.
Because I don't write rhymes. So to sit there and write my thoughts down, it damn near traumatized me. It felt tedious.
It's traumatizing for writers too.
Yeah, it felt tedious just to, You
wrote it by hand or you wrote it on computer?
I wrote my book on at this time, what was it called? The
BlackBerry?
Two-way. Yeah. I wrote it like on a BlackBerry.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So, but that was easier for me because I was traveling with it.
Wait,
and when the thought comes up.
You said you have an on-beat, off-beat flow.
Yeah.
So when you're going off-beat, you're doing that on purpose.
Well, that's just how I'm feeling the beat.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna pronunciate the word.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in my bag. I'm feeling how I want to deliver it as an artist. But then I'm gonna get back on to where it's supposed to be. Like even in good times.
Yeah.
The only flow that you know with a bounce and a half. So I got to bounce, but there's another half there. So I have to figure out to bounce back. Like, you know what I mean? So it's off beat, on beat, but I'm on beat.
What was the first time you remember being in love with hip hop before you were a rapper? Like the first time you're like, I
love hip hop. I want to say there's two things for me, and they're both at pretty young stages, but one would be hearing the message, because the message, I can answer, I can say it now because now I'm older and I understand. But as a youth, I wasn't really sure. But it was to be able to hear something that was verbal art that connected to the picture that life was really painting outside. And I wasn't able to put that together back then, but
we felt that.
I felt that in my body, like just as a youth from traveling.
Because we're about the same age. We had heard Rapper's Delight.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Yeah.
But the message was like, yo, this is serious.
The message is serious. Like, so think about it. Like you see someone painting a picture of, I'm from New York, so this is a city I see. From traveling with my mom, we live in Yonkers, but she worked in the Bronx. She worked in Manhattan, so I'm familiar with trains. I'm familiar with buses. I'm familiar with seeing different places. To be able to hear the message and go back to how my neighborhood was, it was somebody painting the picture, but it was verbal. So I think that hit me hard. And then I would say the second one was watching Beat Street. I knew I had to be involved in rap for life.
Really?
Like watching Beat Street was Lee's life, even though he wasn't a rapper.
It was a hip hop life.
It was a hip hop life.
Yeah.
It's just a young fella. The adults embraced him. He dressed well. He was cool. He wasn't staying in the house. He was always on the move. Like, I knew that was something that I wanted to be part of.
Did you graffiti?
Yeah, I used to tag.
Did you dance?
I didn't do a great job of it. Yeah, I mean, I think we all did back then.
And you DJ'd?
I didn't never DJ.
See, a lot of
I never
people
DJ'd.
who grew up in the 70s and maybe in some of the 80s would engage in all that they would tat, they maybe could DJ, they could dance a little, they could rap a little.
I tagged, I boogied, and I would grab the mic when the DJ was on the 1 and 2s at the local party.
Because all the elements, that's
all
just
the elements
what you did.
I don't think, like, see how nowadays it's funny because how much being hip hop is 50 and how much has grown. People look at different elements of saying, all right, this the element and that element, which they are all different elements. But back then, that was just life.
Yes.
You're not even looking at it like this is a certain part.
No.
You didn't look at graffiti as separate from breaking.
No.
You didn't look at rhyming as separate from DJing. You didn't look at going to a party separate from hanging out. It's just, this is my life, and my life embodies all of these things. So I think that was the amazing thing about hip hop, because I think most people don't understand. Like, I'm 48, so for me, we're from a generation where we weren't like our parents in the sense of, I think we knew we wanted something more than just what the white man told us we had to do, more than just go to school, go work for this, go to college, do this and do that. I think we understood that we were sort of from, again, subconsciously, but I think it's like, all right, we don't have our own thing. And we were the generation who wanted their own thing. And I think hip hop became that own thing for a lot of us. So it was more so, all right, I'm gonna do this other shit I gotta do in life, but this right here is how I live. This is my way of living, basically. This is how I walk, talk, dress, eat, sleep, shit, hang out, do everything. And phones wasn't out back then. So you even going to see your homeboy yelling at the window or knocking on the door, gathering up, meeting outside. So things were much more soulfully connected back then.
At what age were you like, yo, I'm pretty good at rapping. I'm better than most of the guys around here?
I think I knew that around like seventh grade.
Okay.
I think I knew that around 7th grade. God bless DMX is from Yonkers, New York. So we had legends like DMX, Rhyme. Kiss the Sheik were from the north side of Yonkers.
Okay.
I'm from the south side. There was another few other dudes. And once your name starts ringing and when people start requesting you
to battle
and start, Cypher, battle, Getty Squares are the main part in Yonkers where no matter what school you go to, you most likely catching a bus from there. So the fights happen there, the rapping happened there, all the cool things that happen in there. So at the time, the library would be in the center of everything. And after school, now you got a bunch of MCs from different places banging on the mailbox and rhyming. And I think once you know that you're dope in a certain circumference, your confidence is boosted.
Yeah.
And then when you hear somebody else who they saying is dope and you feel like you're better than them, that's another confidence booster. So I was from a place where, you get acknowledged by a few great MCs and people who do what you do and people that you like and you like how they rhyme also. That's when you know.
How did you meet Kiss and
I met them
Sheik?
I met them in junior high, but then we ended up going to the same high school together.
And that's where were y'all friends?
Yeah.
Before it was a group?
Yeah, well, I met them, we wasn't close friends. I'm from the south side, they're from the north, but just in high school, it was like we just automatically clicked. Like, we 14, 15, and it was just kind of, them two knew each other since single digits.
Okay.
I met them like at 14.
So you were the third one in the group?
Basically. I would have almost supposed to be like probably K-Solo or Q-Tip.
You were?
Yeah. And it was more than just, we had a crew called the Bomb Squad. So it was Chic and Kiss, because they was very professional at a very young age. Like, when I met them, I was rhyming outside. They're the first two people who I seen go in the studio out of all our peers, and talk about everybody who rhymed in school, people from other schools across town. They knew how to put a song together at that age, which was very rare. And this is real time. They knew how to go to studio.
You mean like they had a chorus, they had a verse, they had a bridge,
chorus, bridge,
not just
hook,
not just
no,
rap,
not just rapping, knowing the timing of it. And to me, that was very impressive because it also took a certain skill level. Like when you dope outside, you're dope, you're banging on call hood, somebody's banging on the table, somebody's hitting the beatbox, and in your mind, you hear how you sound. But when you put a headphone on,
it's different.
Headphones on it, and you're in the booth and you're rhyming over a beat, and you got to keep that tempo. It's a whole nother world. And that was something I had to master pretty early on, because I was pretty much amazed, because I had been in the studio with a few older dudes, but I never seen anybody kind of work so smart at that age. Like, you know what I mean? And I was very impressed by what they do. So it just drove me further to go harder. And we in class, but after school, we would just call each other with rhymes. Like it just got to a point when you passionate and you share the same craft as someone, and you got the same amount of passion.
Yeah.
It just clicks.
Was the goal to be professional or to be the best in the area?
Well, 9th grade, we just wanted to be the best in the area. For me, I just kind of wanted to be the best in the area. By the time I want to say we reached 12th grade, it was a serious goal.
We're going.
And then by the time we, supposed to thinking about college, we in community college. We out of high school, we in community college. And even at community college, I fucking barely went to class. I was like rhyming there, like against anyone who could rhyme. And then I end up going to jail, county pen.
For hustling?
Gun possession, yeah.
That's part of hustling.
Yeah.
Well, wait, when
Pretty
did
much.
When did the hustling start?
Shit, I was hustling since I was 12.
Really?
I would hustle, and I worked probably since 12, and I hustled since 12.
What
Both.
were you selling?
I sold almost everything under the sun. I sold crack. I sold coke. I sold weed. Yeah.
How much do you think you made?
Not enough.
Was it a good living?
I was young. It wasn't. I had a stock job also. I went to school also, so I was just a guy making it happen by any means necessary.
So you were on the corner, hand to hand, but
Yeah,
not doing a big
No.
things.
No, not huge till I got a little older.
Right.
A little.
Or you got bigger when you got older.
Got a little bigger when you got a little older.
Okay.
Like, so even our first year, first few years, I just wasn't doing the hustling, but I was still hustling. Like, you know what I mean? So it was it advanced, but I wasn't never kingpin status or any of that.
No.
Like, it was crazy, but we bought a kilo with our advance. Bad boy. So it shows you the mind state of being on both sides of the fence.
So wait, how much was the advance?
It wasn't that much back then.
Like,
I want to say about I want to say, I could be wrong, but I want to say about, I feel like it was $150 or somewhere around that.
150?
Yeah.
For all three of you?
Yeah. I feel like it was
you got $50,000 as an advance to sign to Bad Boy when they were hot?
I feel like it was somewhere in that area, yeah.
And you
definitely wasn't no bigger numbers than that, because that was part of the reason. Because if it was, I doubt we would have went in and invested in a kilo.
Well, I'm just saying, so when you invested the 150 in a kilo, how much did that end up bringing back?
Well, we made our money back. We didn't invest 150 in a kilo. We bought a kilo. A kilo wasn't 150 at that time.
Okay.
It was a little cheaper than that.
Well, but I'm saying how much to if
well, you more so than just the investment. You're thinking of at that time just sheerly ignorant. You're thinking of making the most money you can.
Sure.
And if you've been outside doing something for a certain amount of years and you're new to something else, it's not like you're looking at it like I'm going to make a shitload of money here and do that. Like it's more so like, all right, this is the reality. This is what I'm making. This is what I'm doing. Let me try to figure this out. And plus, you want a lot of good shit, so it led to a different mind state.
Bad Boy, now, at this point in life, do you regret signing to Bad Boy?
No, not at all. Because we had a standard contract. Our contract wasn't different from most MCs that had it. And you got to go through trials and tribulations. And that's like, who wouldn't go to the Chicago Bulls of rap?
I mean, they were hot at that point.
They were the Chicago Bulls of rap, basically. Like, you know. So who wouldn't? And especially coming from a place where you're hustling.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make an opportunity to eventually get away from hustling and not have to be in that position. But until you feel comfortable and you get acclimated as an MC, a group, a rapper, whatever it may be, you're still on.
You're one of the groups I think about that your career was hot and label stuff got in the way of your movement.
Yeah.
And, you feel bad about, like, we could have seen them develop. And obviously you guys moved through that. But there's a period of your career when you guys were hot that we weren't really hearing from you because of label stuff.
Yeah, I think, but I also believe that part of that period made us who we are today because.
What do you mean?
Well, we wasn't making albums, but then we made our names on mixtapes. We made the streets hold us dearly to their heart. We still, even though we weren't on a label, we were on a label, we still would give out free music. We still would rhyme over other people's beats. And I believe that part of our career really, why we're still relevant to this day, because people understood that we really cared about our craft and what we do and our fan base and just giving music out. So I think that although it didn't escalate numbers-wise and sales-wise, I believe it resonated with soul and a cult fan base.
I do miss the mixtape era so much. And guys like you would jump on whoever, Ron G, whatever, mixtape, and do some style, some rhymes, some flow that you wouldn't do on your album.
Yeah.
And real fans are like, yo, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I definitely had people like, yo, I didn't know Fat Joe could do it like that. I didn't know so good. Like now I'm that's the best thing I ever heard Busta do.
Yeah.
Right, whatever. And and you had to know where to go to get them.
Yeah. Those was the days where you would be proud to find something new in hip hop.
Yes.
Not like today where you just hear the same thing over and over.
Just type it in, you'll find it.
And over, this one, those were the days you would be proud. Somebody would be proud.
As you alluded, you felt more free on the mixtape because you knew this is for real hip hop heads. So we're gonna
because you're doing it for the sake of the craft.
For the culture.
Yeah, so when you do something for the sake of the craft, sake of the culture, just to connect with people, because we also came from a period of watching great MCs before us and going, okay, here's the one thing I would have requested from all of the great people that I love is more work. So it's like, all right, we're not making, okay, we made the album, we're going through this and that. We could still give you work. And okay, we're not making money off of it, but it's our craft. We love to do it. So here you go. We're going to give it to you. And I think that makes a huge difference in how you connect with your fan base.
So wait, something I actually been wanting to ask you guys for a long time. Which is a better name for a rap group? The Lox or D Block?
We're both. D Block is our movement and our brand and our label.
But I met y'all, it was D Block. And then it became the Lox.
We was Lox first, then D Block. We was Bomb Squad, we were Warlocks, then we were the Lox, and then D Block is our version of going, we have control over ourselves. Like, so when we started putting out independent music, we wanted it to be under our label, which is D Block. Locks mean living off experience, so I can't say which one is better. D Block means discipline, dedication, determination. I think both things are very important in life, but Locks is where it starts, and living off experience is where it starts. So if I had to edge it out, I'm going to give it to the Locks.
I always felt like
D Block was a movement, though.
It gave me a sense of like what is going on.
Yeah, D Block was more
kind of like
a,
Death Row gave me a sense of where we're going.
Yeah, I was going to say Locks was specifically the group. D Block is the group and the movement. So it was more so of, as I said, us showing our discipline, dedication, and determination.
And I mean, the way that
what we were into
says D Block, it just rings in the ears.
It just goes hard.
It's hard. It
hits
so
you in your
hard.
chest when you hear it.
Yes, it's so hard.
Yeah, I would say D Block definitely will give you more of a feeling because, you know, when you yell out that D Block, people feel it in the heart.
What? Okay, so we said we could talk about anything. What happened in Puff's office? Y'all were not happy with the deal. You went in and told him that.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the vibes wasn't just there. And pardon me, those are my ignorant days. It was. It really.
What did you do?
I threw a chair at him.
Did you hit him?
No, I didn't even hit him.
But you tried to hit him.
I tried to hit him. Then he broke my ankle, almost sprained my ankle doing that shit. So I was really, really mad.
So he dodged the chair?
Yeah, he dodged the chair.
But you broke something throwing a chair.
Yeah, I think I broke a few things in there, most likely.
So, wait.
It was just being frustrated, like, you know, as I said, but here's where I say, I always tell artists nowadays you have to learn how to differentiate business in the street. Like, on the street, you feel violated.
Handle it.
You handle it. Like, that's pretty much how it goes. In business, you can't do that. In business, it doesn't work like that. And in business, you don't understand certain things, especially when you're coming from the streets. So if I'm coming from the streets and I know whether it's a dime bag, I sell 10 dime bags, I made $100.
Right.
Now, records, you could sell thousands of records and you're like, hey, wait, how much am I getting off this record exactly? And it doesn't make sense to you. So now it's part of the business, but when you put street math in your head, industry math kind of doesn't add up and you can get very frustrated. Back then. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it was more so like this, I don't like the math. I don't like where things are going. And with Big passing played a big part in the disruption.
What do you mean?
We were really close with Big.
Yeah.
Big was like a big brother. Like, so to be in his sessions, like, it's like somebody getting there a year or two before you and giving you the ropes and saying, here's how you got to do this. Here's how you got to do this. Here's how you deal with them. So even, you know, Big always made things every bit easier.
For you.
Yeah, for us as a group.
Yeah.
So when he wasn't around, I think that was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, and there was no person to be like, you got to chill, do this from an artist perspective that we could kind of respect. So it was more like, I don't like this shit. He's getting on my nerves. Fuck it. You know,
did that meeting lead to you getting what you wanted?
Eventually, yeah.
Well, I know later.
Eventually,
but
yeah.
That might throw a wrench in it where he's like, you know what, fuck you, I'm digging in.
Yeah, but it was like I was the bad guy and there was a few other good guys there. So we still had management. We still had certain things. So it had to be worked. What I did learn from that period in life, I believe it helped me out with understanding how business works. Not just music business, but business in general. Like, sometimes you have to bite the bullet if it's going to get you an opportunity in a place you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to learn. I learned from that point on that as an artist, you also a businessman. Because as an artist, you want to be an artist and you're an artist until you start finding out shit you don't like about the business. And then me, I just happen to react wrongly and with an attitude to it. But later down the line, I understood that this is part of business. Like, you know what I mean? He understood that we had the standard contract that this is what most people are going through. But
The
I
standard
think
contract is bullshit.
standard contract is bullshit. But you got to think about it. A lot of people, I guess, one, we had made it from Yonkers, New York. No one was on before that,
Right.
besides our sister Mary. You know what I mean?
Right,
But
right.
as far as rap, no one's on. So we
Right.
came in cocky and with a feeling of fuck it, we did it. We could do it again. But the standard contract, it was like I don't think I could keep. This ain't. It's like having a dream and finding out that your dream has a slight or more than slight nightmare involved in the dream.
It's a nightmare.
So now it's like, wait a minute. Oh, whoa. But then you learn later on just how to deal with things. Like a lot of people don't even understand. No, if you know the story. It was we were on Bad Boy and we got off Bad Boy, went to Rough Rider, Interscope. But when I got off Interscope later, I got off of Interscope with a simple conversation with Jimmy on my own.
Jimmy Iovine.
Yeah, as a businessman, and was able to navigate my way out of that into the independent world. But I learned that from what I went through with Puff. So I knew how to, that way I approached it a whole different way. That's why no one never knows it. But I don't think people just randomly get off an Interscope. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Randomly get out of a major deal. I was able to do that.
What did you do that allowed you
I had
to
a
do
conversation with him that was sensible. A personal conversation. Went to his house, had lunch, and voiced my opinion, what I thought, my thoughts, how I felt, what type of artist I was, where I was going in life, how I moved, and he respected it. And just made my life really simple.
Tell me about a little more about your friendship with Big. What was some of the advice, musical thoughts?
Everything. Big was just really good with all around being a generally great person. He gave advice on how to deal with industry people, how to deal with Puff, how to deal with the label.
What did he say about how to deal with Puff?
He's like, you gotta be you gotta know how to work your mojo to get the things you want in the industry. With Puff and with everyone. You know what I mean? You gotta know how to get your bread, have a good time. You gotta know it's a business and you gotta plan for the future. And more so than that, it was watching his business mind, even what he was working on doing with the Junior Mafia. Like, you know what I mean? He was in a great position. To be in that great of a position, he wasn't selfish, though. He was thinking about putting his people on. He was putting his people on. Not even thinking about it. He was doing it. So it was like he was saying you got to have some future plans in and figure out how you're going to do what you want to do with your stuff. So I thought Big was a awesome individual. And more so than that, even our sessions with him, when we first met him, I remember one of the first things he said after hearing us is, y'all motherfuckers rhyme. Y'all rhyme. And I'm glad y'all here. Like, to be in that position, we're not from the same borough as him. We're from somewhere totally different. He didn't know us. He just had a real love for the craft and a real appreciation. So even going to the studio, when we go into the studio, he's like, y'all come over here, man. Bring that shit y'all be smoking from up top. He's like, Big's the one who put us on the green weed.
What were you?
Big put.
Wait, what were you doing?
Before that was chocolate. Like, people don't even, like, that time period was chocolate, Buddha, skunk, cess, lamb's breath, all of that.
And he
Big,
put you on the green.
He put me on a hydro. Hydro. Word. And then Branson was actually on our way down coming to there. So we got used to going to Branson. Big would have mayonnaise jars full of green weed, but he still loved chocolate and the shit we had from up top. So just how he went about it, I always say the thing about it is we're a group, but we got a crew of dudes with us. He treated our friends how he treated us. And to me, that was always very, like, that's why I always say he was one of the classiest people I've ever met. he was one of the classiest people I ever met. He would treat your homeboy how he treated you. And I think as a gentleman, to be that young and to be in the music industry, coming from off the streets also, I thought that was a fine quality to have. Like I saw that as a very fine quality because he was genuine. And he was very funny.
Hilarious.
He had a lot of his charisma. Yeah, charisma out the wazoo. So I just believe he was just a genuinely
I remember
amazing person.
where I was when I heard what had happened to him. Do you remember where you were?
I definitely remember we just left him.
Oh, y'all were at that party?
We were at the party. We were
Word.
with him. We just finished speaking to him.
What did you talk about in your last?
Saying what's up, what's going on, but he was also saying when we get back to New York, he knew I was disgruntled. We was disgruntled with Puff, but he's like, yo, when we get back, we'll chop it up. I got y'all, figure this and that. And we literally just left.
You left, what, 5-10 minutes?
10 minutes
Before he left.
before he left.
Did you, because it was a nervous trip as far as people in LA were talking shit. And he knew, like, it's not a normal trip to LA. It's hot. Did you feel that vibe, that tension?
I mean, I think nobody could not feel that from what was going on at the time. At that time, though, us particularly as the group, they didn't really know us in LA that much yet.
Right.
And we didn't really give a shit about things like that, of that, that magnitude. Then we're coming from, because before Rough Riders is a label, they are management and the same seeing how they roll and how we roll back then. So those was the cowboy days. So I don't think we thought about it in the way everybody else thought about it. It's just more like, fuck it, go with the flow.
So what happens? You're in the truck and somebody calls and
you get the information. That
you got to be like, you got to be kidding me. I was just with him.
It's crazy.
Like
it was just literally.
How long after it happened did you hear about it?
Right away. Right away, because everybody was in in frenzy mode. It was a frenzy. I mean, Big just got shot. Truck got shot up. Big shot. He's in the hospital. So it was just it was a crazy time.
It was a very scary time too. I know a lot of people like went straight to the airport.
Yeah.
Like I know a bunch of people were like, I didn't even go to my hotel. I just drove straight to the airport, wait for my flight. It's hard. It was hard. When did you meet X, DMX?
I've known X since
teenage.
I knew him. I actually knew X before I knew Sheik and Kiss because he's from my side of town.
Right.
So I knew I would see X come through my block since single digits actually.
But he was away a lot of your childhood.
He'd be back and forth.
Yeah.
He'd be in and out.
Yeah.
He'd be in and out. But X also, like X was a legend before. He was a legend where we're from.
For his street exploits.
And his music at the same time. Like he had street exploits, but he was voicing that in the music. And he was a hell of an MC. So before he made it on, he was a legend in our parts. And he was a bad man on the mic.
Yeah.
So, just coming up, that's also one of the people who was like, when I was younger, to give me credit and say how nice I am and how dope I am as an MC. Also someone, that's when another part of being confident and knowing is when somebody who got a couple stripes on their shoulders telling you deserve a couple stripes on your shoulder.
So you talk about other people giving those
kudos and flowers.
Yeah, to you.
As a young person to hear X tell you dope.
That's amazing.
A lot.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it meant a lot.
So I know you're a fan of Jadakiss because that's your brother.
Yeah, definitely.
What is something that he said on the mic that made you go, damn, nigga?
Shit, every time I hear Sheik and Kiss on pretty much every song, like when you're in a group we're we're obviously we're very competitive.
Yeah.
So no one goes in the studio to get the last spot ever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So every time I'm hearing him say something, I can't think of when I can't think of when they didn't when they said a rhyme where I didn't go, sheesh.
Is there something he said that you like,
shit.
yo, you outdid yourself right there?
Nothing really sticks out because all of the music sticks out to me. By Your Side is one of my shits for how much hard shit he's saying, but how relevant it is to being cool with somebody and by their side and what they could get out of life. Shit, the freestyle at VERZUZ. Well, both of my partners, they constantly say shit that make me go, holy shit.
The line I keep coming back to him, real live street shit, truest
and the deepest. I know niggas that go to jail just to get their teeth fixed. Ain't gotta give a fuck what you heard say. When I got the nigga that you're trying to be watching my wordplay. Now everybody want to be popped. So they ass really get popped and they die on the third day. Like,
I mean, just that those first two lines, just the sonic play of it, and the detail. I can see the guy going to jail to get, and like that, you know that, like you really know. You don't read that and figure that out. Like you know people somebody who did like.
Yeah, definitely. That's an experience.
Yes. Yes.
That's an experience.
And the way he's riding the beat, because the next line he changes what he's rhyming about.
Yeah.
The rhyming words.
Yeah.
Right. So, but those first two is
Got to be a bad man to do that. Gotta be
the same thing with Chic. The line that pops out to me, I'm strictly trying to cop those.
Colossal-sized Picassos. It's crazy. Because it's a picture.
It's a picture. I see
It's a picture. Like that. I think that's a big part of being an MC. Because rapping and MC is two totally different things.
Ooh.
Rapping and MCing are two totally different things. Being an MC, it entails a lot. And I think a lot of people don't really understand that if they're not an MC. One, you have to have a flow.
To be an MC.
To be an MC. Now you have to have wordplay. Now you have to say something relevant where the words are going, where it's not typical of what anybody else say because you don't want to sound like anyone else, while painting the picture at the same time. While making sure that picture that you painting is, now they could visualize it, sonically feel it, understand you saying some other shit, and want to rewind it and break down what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
See, a rapper is just going to rap and he's just going to go off. An MC is looking to say some witty, clever shit that you may think about years later and go, wait a minute, did he just say that?
So MC's higher for you?
MC by all means are higher.
Yeah.
It's very high. Anybody could rap. Rapping is rapping words. So I'm not saying anybody could rap good, but almost anyone could rap. You say cat, hat, bat, fat, sat, jack. You could rap.
Yeah.
But an MC is going to take those same words, make it mean something, and add some other words to it to where you're like, oh, shit.
So you're like you start as a rapper and maybe at some point you ascend to become an MC when you get more complex with everything.
Definitely. I think everyone starts as a rapper. And then when you're good at it, you start, mastering the ceremony.
Who are the MCs who you really listened to when you were developing, who you would think of are inspiring
Cool G, Kane, Rakim, and KRS.
Cool G, Kane, Rakim, KRS. The
EPMD.
The Kings.
The Holy Grail.
Both Eric and Parrish, or one more than the other?
Both. Jungle Brothers, De La Soul, Light.
MC Light.
Latifah.
See, now the first...
Chill Rob G.
The first four Kings.
The first four I look at as the grand masters of what I feel Kane, Cool G, Rakim, and KRS are Nas, Hove, Biggie, Mobb Deep, ourselves, Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Anybody who came up in that era, I feel those four have to be part of your four grandmasters.
Wait,
Like,
if we were plotting out like a style family tree, like a stylist, like I could say, like this MC clearly comes from listening to this. So
Yeah.
who would be like the fathers or whatever of
Them
your
four.
style? Those four.
those four,
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah.
I think more than just me. I think everybody I just mentioned.
Oh, absolutely.
I think everyone I just mentioned, because as a youth, you have to pay attention to who came before you. You don't just get dope out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You learn to develop your own style from saying, all right, I like what he does, I like what she does, I like what he does, I like that cadence. And now if you're good enough, you become add your individual style and make your individual style. But those are the godfathers of the golden era.
So are you done making albums?
Yeah, this will be my last solo album. Solo albums, yes.
So
For
you
sure.
might do a Locks album.
Yeah, definitely doing a Locks album. I'm in the studio doing Locks stuff now. And I'll still do some collaboration projects. But as far as my solo catalog, I feel like out of my age group, my catalog is extensive. I feel like with all of the things that I have going on outside of music, I need to be able to balance myself, balance my time better. And there's so many other things I want to do creative wise. Like my wife is on her second book. Her second book is out. She has 2 books. I have 1 book. So now I'm the fake author in the house.
You're the fake author.
I'm the fake author
'Cause you-
because I got 1.
So you're trying to catch up.
Yeah, I got to catch up. But my wife, I write fiction.
Okay.
She writes real life shit.
Name her book.
Her book is The Ethereal Hike, where that one's
And what's her name?
Ajwa Styles. And her second book is Fuck the Frail Shit.
Fuck the Frail Shit.
Fuck the Frail Shit.
Fuck the Frail. Oh, okay. All right. So people
Fuck
want to
the Frail-
find that.
Yeah.
Can find that.
The second one's definitely for your mental wellness
Okay.
and mental well-being. The first one also, but the first one more is of a journey to discern the privilege of loss through the power of love.
Okay.
Being that we lost our daughter,
Mhm.
and just telling people how to move on in life, push forward.
How do you move on from a tragedy like that? Because you never really move on.
You never move on. You're never healed, but you work constantly on healing. And she says something that's great in that book. One is you got to discern the privilege of loss through the power of love.
What?
Discern the privilege of loss through the power of love.
What does that mean?
Through love, you get to understand. Through loss, you get to understand the love for yourself, the love you have for the person you lost, the love you should have for life. Moving on, being in a bad place, opening up and growing into something more, something different, pushing on in a positive manner. So she says something that I pretty much implement in my life daily now, especially when I'm feeling bad. You could break down or you could break open.
Interesting.
So you have to find, like, we're all going to lose someday, and you move on by thinking of other people who are losing or have lost. So, all right, we could say we know how we lost our daughter. What about the person whose child is on a milk box? What about the person who lost a whole family at once? What about a person who, just going through other shit? So you have to understand that the creator works in his own way, and you got to understand how to connect to the creator and just try to be the best you could be as you're moving on through life.
Your daughter took her own life.
Yes.
And I would wonder, God, where you might blame yourself or look for what, like if somebody died of cancer, like I understand what happened, it's horrible. But then you got to figure out, well, what happened? Where
you never really get the answers of what happened. You just go, this is why mental wellness is important. That all you could do is try to be mentally as well as you possibly can be. Yeah. There's sometimes the answers aren't right in front of you. Neither one of us had the signs that our daughter would commit suicide. It probably just happened off the fly. But then you look at other things that happen in life that just kind of happened off the fly. Like me, I'm a person who suffered from rage. Like most people in jail, there's been people who've been cool their whole life, then they snap, something happens, and they're in jail for murder for the rest of the life. So there's instances in life where your train of thinking, your train of thought could just change. It could be due to the way you're eating. It could be due to how much stress you're holding and not relieving. It could be due to just being in circumstances you don't like. So the mind works in a certain way, which is why mental wellness is important, period. So, to live life with blaming yourself, you wouldn't be living life as well as you should be, and for the person you lost either.
I know you've been focusing on wellness. You got Juices for Life and all sorts of.
Juices for Life, Pharmacy for Life, yeah.
Vegan for a long time. So you're really thinking a lot about how can I put the best things into my body so I can be
for sure
healthy. And you feel 100% different.
Great. Yeah, I feel great. If not, then I would have went back.
What is the #1 seller at Juices for Life?
I don't think we have a #1 seller. We have a few #1 sellers. Armageddon, Morning Rush, G5, Kiss of Life. One of mine's too, Ghost Juice, The Wave. And we also like people come make their own, put their own blends
What
together.
about the Pharmacy for Life? What is the #1 thing?
Pharmacy for Life, I would say the #1 what?
The #1 thing most people want.
Black seed oil.
Black seed
oil, because it removes mucus, it removes phlegm. It's good for your brain function. It's good if you're fighting diabetes, if you have high blood pressure, has anti-cancer properties. It's good for your skin. It's good for your gut. It's basically I feel it's the holy grail of most health products. Not just our black seed oil, black seed
This is the holy grail.
In general.
This is the shit.
I feel black seed oil definitely, because one thing, what Juices for Life is about, what Pharmacy for Life is about, is really about understanding what's happening to us as a people and what difference we can make as a brand for our people. To understand that even me and my wife understand what we want to do, what we want to accomplish. We started it, but we won't be around to see the end results we're looking for. The end results we're looking for probably be, God willingly not, but most likely there's a fast food. When you talk about a hood, right? There's a fast food place,
jewelry, sneakers,
and a liquor store in every beyond America, almost every black hood in America, and probably beyond. You see these things, until there's a Pharmacy for Life, or a store like Pharmacy for Life, or a store like Juices for Life, or a yoga place, or a meditation place, or a halal place, or not just from our brand, from multiple brands. Until there's something like that in every hood, it's not balanced. The balance is not there. So we're just working on sparking people to hear the messages that have already been laid out for us by the likes of the great late Dick Gregory, the great late Dr. Sebi. Like these are things we've been informed about. Since we have the opportunity and we're in hip hop, we choose to use our outlet to spread the word in hip hop, because especially in the hood, one of the most relevant things in the hood, I'm not even talking about music, just coming up in the hood, is survival.
Yeah.
That's what's mostly on everybody's mind.
Yeah.
Survival, getting enough money to do something different in your life. But that really starts with taking care of yourself, or at least having a balanced lifestyle.
So on your Wikipedia page, which may or may not be true, it said you were supporting Trump in 2020. Is that true?
That definitely wasn't true.
Okay.
That's funny. I support independent thinkers. I'm the guy who says, pardon my French, but fuck the red side, fuck the blue side. They're both wings, different wings on one bird.
Okay.
I personally think I don't know why they would put that on my Wikipedia. I have enough. You could just scroll on my social media and see how I don't support anyone. But if you ask me something, I did prefer when Trump was in office over Biden, and I could tell you clearly why.
Why?
Black people paid more attention to what was going on.
Because we felt like we were in crisis.
Yeah.
Because
we were in crisis now though, but when it's somebody, I'd rather have you tell me you don't like me and know you don't like me and you inform me than me have to guess it or you secretly don't like me, but you telling me you like me.
You're not.
I think the government's been doing that for ages.
But you're not supporting Trump in any way.
No.
You're saying.
I don't support Trump in any way.
You're saying the racism was clear here, and now it's
I'd rather deal with that.
It's a little more cloaked.
I'd rather deal with clear racism and just someone being who they are and letting you know where they come from.
Right. But you're not saying the country was better under Trump.
Nah, I think the country sucked under both of them. Here's what I truly think. I feel, right? You put it in a context that people feel in a certain context. I think people in our generation are following what the generation came before us said.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to pick a better poison. I'd rather fast.
Interesting.
I'd rather fast. You telling me to pick a better poison, and I think politically we've got to the point where people are just figuring out on picking the better poison. Why pick the better poison? Why not come up with something that really works for all the people? Because whether you look at Trump, whether you look at Biden, I would ask you, what have either one of them done for us?
So you're saying you did not vote?
No, I didn't vote. I couldn't vote on that go around. I voted.
Why couldn't you? Why couldn't you?
I couldn't find myself. I wasn't going to vote for Trump. He clearly what he is.
But you didn't like Biden either.
I didn't like Biden at all. I think how could we
What about when it was Trump Clinton? You didn't vote?
Couldn't vote for Hillary neither.
Did you vote for Obama?
I felt Hillary had as much racist. Yeah, I voted for Obama twice.
Right.
I felt Hillary had as much racist incidents as Trump did. But because she...
That's a bit of a stretch.
No way. She called us predators early.
I understand that is one...
She called us predators early.
She was talking about super predators, yes, at a time...
Well, at that time, who were they locking up?
No, of course.
And who fit the bill of the super predator?
Of course. And that was at a time when... And not to absolve her or whatever, but at a time when criminologists thought there's specific individuals who commit more crime than others, and if we get them, then we can deal with the crime issue, right? But she's coming at it from a notion of like, how can we protect a community that is being ravaged by criminals and drugs
but I
in
would
different
believe
ways.
that she had the knowledge and the understanding of how the country works, how politics work, how the institutions we have.
She don't have an understanding of the hood.
She has an understanding of how the institutions.
But she's not trying to
affect the hood.
But she's not trying to be. She's not trying there to be racist the way Trump is when he's doing birtherism.
I don't think so. But as I said, I'd rather deal with a person who I could see coming and I know what they are. Mm-hmm. That's just how my personality is. I'd rather deal with someone that I know is my enemy that's on right in front of me telling me instead of someone who may sign a bill that's going to work against me because I'm not paying attention. See, Trump had us paying attention because you knew what you were under. You knew what you knew what was going on. Like there's times I think in the history of the country where we could see things needed to be changed. And I think that came from both sides. And like I think George Bush and the things that were going on in Iraq, I think most of America wasn't used to black barbershops talking about that shit. So I think when we started talking about in the barbershop about what's going on in the country and what's going on out of the country, I think it made politics look at us in a different light. And I'm talking about not just the hip hop community, the black community, period. And throughout the years though, it's like I don't know. I'm not fond of either side. I voted for Obama twice. But I'm not fond of what the Democrats do. I'm not fond of what the Republicans do. I feel I don't have the answers to it, but I feel there should be a better system at play because now we're in a world where it's super divided. And besides those who are running, like if I tell you my politics and you don't agree with me, like you could go online and see that it's fuck you, you're wrong. People can't even have a conversation to disagree with each other. People can't even agree to disagree anymore. Now it's just like, I'm over here, I'm with them, you're over there, you're with them, and we don't mix and mesh. I believe that divide within our government and how much they're divided over is very much harming the country. And I'm gonna give you a clear example. When COVID hit, there shouldn't have been a Republican, Democrat point of view. Should have been one point of view.
Yes.
That kind of shows you how fucked up politics are. We're talking about a pandemic, something that's never happened within our lifetime.
Yes.
That's affecting
part of
millions of people. How do you make it political? That's horrible.
I agree. I agree. You are casting aspersions on both houses.
Yeah.
And it was really Republicans and the right that was like, fuck the science, fuck the masks, fuck your vaccine. And it was Republicans who, Mitch McConnell and them, Republicans in the Senate,
horrible.
100% feared that Trump would lose because there was a discussion about we should just give every American a certain amount of money every month because they're not able to work. But the Republicans were afraid Trump will lose, will have given people money, there will be an economic uptick, and the Democrats will get credit for it. So we can't do, so I mean, like, there's different ways that the Republicans said, we don't want to be helpful because we think our man might lose.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that.
I'm not sure, I don't see where Democrats politicize that in the way that you're talking about.
Well, I think they just gave a fuck about what the Republicans were doing so much and stuck on that. And then it became, what I'm saying as a country, no matter whose fault it is, right? It could be Republicans' fault more. Where are we where we got to even, where it should be a fault and we don't have a country that just figures out how to run and how to get together and how to do things? How can either both sides say, let's get together, let's do the math on everywhere it's hit, who's doing good with handling it, who's doing bad with handling it, how they handle it. Let's take the information that we have on how they handled it and move on together. And they didn't do that because both sides are pretty fucking selfish, if you ask me. Because anything that has to do with human beings shouldn't be that politicized. Right. And that's my point at the end of the day. Like, I don't know. I just see, I believe in, I vote, I'm with voting locally. I'm with like making sure about the judges in your town, the mayors,
you vote,
the councilmen.
You vote for mayors.
I work with the mayors. So wait,
you
we
vote
build
for,
up school.
You vote for mayors.
I deal with mayors. I deal with councilmen.
You voted for your mayor.
Yeah.
And you voted for your congressperson.
Yeah.
Did you vote for senator?
No.
So senator.
I like local politics. I don't care once it gets too big.
So you're not anti-voting. You are voting.
I'm not anti-voting. I'm not anti anything. And that's a problem. When you don't do something or you don't participate in something, people will make you anti. I'm not anti-voting. I'm for how you feel comfortable as an individual. What I want to do and how I feel, I don't have a right to project that upon you.
But
that's not my human right.
But you feel like your mayor, and I think this is right, that your mayor will have a greater impact on your life
and my community's
as a citizen
life.
and as a businessman than a president will.
Definitely. Because I feel like you should have like, I can't call anyone up in the White House right now and say, hey, I'm not feeling how this is going. I think you should do this to make a difference. I can't do that. I could call the mayor up, though. I could call the mayor of Yonkers on the phone. I speak to the mayor of Yonkers. I speak to the mayor of Mount Vernon. I've spoken with the mayor of Peekskill. I I speak with Congressman Bowman.
And
I deal with Senator Stewart. I don't go around. I feel with me personally, I can make more change and effect with being who I am and working with whoever's working with the people.
Well,
I don't have to pick a side.
Do you see that because you're donating to the campaigns of these people, right?
Now I'm donating my energy and my time.
Oh, see, because donors have more power than voters.
Definitely.
So if you're
now taking that, like, say that one more time for me.
Yeah, donors have more power than voters.
So what kind of political system do we have in this country if that's the case? That's what I'm saying.
100%.
It's shitty on both sides.
100%. But you're somebody who can take advantage of that, of like, I donate to the mayor as everything is legal, and that means the mayor is going to take me. I mean, the mayor takes you very seriously.
The mayor takes me serious because I'm going on this. Here's why the mayor is going to take me serious and anyone I deal with, because I'm going on behalf of speaking for the people. I'm not there for
No. The mayor takes you seriously because you are a serious business person and a well-known and loved person in the community.
For
but
sure.
You're a serious business person.
For sure.
If you were just, I'm a rapper, okay, that's cool. But you're an important business person in these communities.
I think you have to want better for your community.
Hire? How many employees do you think you have with the Juice for Life, Pharmacy for Life?
I would say about 100.
That's a big business.
I would say about 100.
That's not a small business.
I would say about 100.
That's a lot.
Five juice bars, Pharmacy for Life. Our e-commerce has a hub where we have many workers. It's good enough.
That's a lot. No, they definitely want to take
It's good
your
enough,
calls.
but we do different things. Like we've rebuilt three parks where I'm from.
They love you.
We're working on making sure they do the right thing and continue to do the right thing for the community center that's there.
It's amazing.
We're gonna actually this month, at the end of the month, we're connecting with YMCA to start giving plant-based soup kitchens.
Nice.
We do book bag drives.
Nice.
We do things community-based. Like a lot of people think you have to be connected. Somehow, if you start doing the work, the people who are connected have to come see you and have conversations with you. And I think that's what it's about at the end of the day. Whether it's red or blue, it's about both sides should be for the people. Because as you say, we're in a country where politicians run us instead of us running
That's right.
Government runs us, and the people are supposed to run the government.
That's right.
So you know why people don't run the government?
Because rich people run the government.
Because rich people run the government, the donors run the government, and the poor people are arguing over which side is right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going, I'm with this side, they with that side, and the donors and the rich people are running it, what kind of government do we really have? And I'm not knocking it because it's a great country. I don't want to live in any other country but here.
No, of course.
But I'm calling a spade a spade. Like at the end of the day, it's like, I don't want to be in a place where the guy's saying, "Make America great again." When was America? When was America ever great for a black man?
When was it great?
Like,
what are you talking about?
Like where you coming from?
What is this?
But I'm also not gonna vote for the guy who, in the past, signed bills against us. And even how I think we think slow when it comes to politics. Like people were worried about Biden's racism when he was running for president. I was like, y'all didn't think about that when he ran for vice president? You didn't think about it because he was standing next to a black man at the time.
So, okay, wait.
So we get blinded by what they wanted us to see, and we talk about what they want us to talk about.
So one last thing. I was just at lunch with a bunch of people, and this guy who's a little younger than us said, who loves hip hop, he said, we were really talking about Jay-Z and Nas. He's like, I don't think there should be any rappers over 40. Once you get to 40, you should just hang it up.
How old was he?
This person is probably about 40, 45. And
what race is he?
Oh, black, and a real hip hop fan.
See, now I'm gonna tell you something that he doesn't know. Subconsciously, he's brainwashed without understanding that. He is brainwashed without understanding
what do you
that.
mean?
What other genre of music does a musician stop at 40? Name it.
Not rock and roll.
Not rock and roll. Not jazz.
Not R&B.
Not country. Not R&B. But rappers have to stop at 40. The newest, youngest genre out of all of the genres, now we have to stop at 40. Why does he think that? Because he's programmed from living at the hood that you have to achieve certain things by 40. You have to achieve certain things in your 20s and 30s. Subconsciously, this is what he's probably thinking. Instead of thinking like as just a regular black man, as a regular human being, a lot of people don't even start getting into their mind and their proper brainwave and thoughts and patterns and knowing themselves until they're in their late 40s or 50. So why stop if you never thought that about any other genre? It's been subconsciously brainwashed to think we have to have a certain window, or we have to be in a certain box, or we have to start doing certain things. Everything with rap gets put in a box that the whole world, rest of the world doesn't have to live by, but somehow us, the genre that the whole world takes from, has to be. It doesn't make any sense.
I think it's infantilizing to hip hop to think only young people can make this. I have no problem with
utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, I have no problem with 20-something rap, but I want to hear from grown men and women who've been at it for a while, at life for a while. Rock and roll has an older wing.
Yeah.
Why should we not have grown folks making grown folks? So, like you should not be pretending I'm in the streets doing da-da-da-da when you have Juice for Life. But if you are talking about real life shit that's going on in your life,
why wouldn't somebody who came up who's in
person,
my age or older want to hear that? So what about the fans? They should no longer listen to rap?
I mean, I'm a 50-year-old fan of rap. Should I not have people my age?
Exactly. That doesn't make sense. I feel like that's a subconscious brainwash without him really understanding that. Because no other genre, I doubt he said that about any other genre.
No.
It's not even an idea to go, they should stop. Because actually that's like saying you should stop making money in your 40s if you're involved with music. Because one, you're supposed to make music, it goes from hobby to job, career. Hobby to job to career. Why would somebody stop their career in their 40s?
Now, John Mayer said something to me that was really interesting because he talked about 40 as well, but he was like, before you're 40 as an artist, you should spend most of your time in the studio trying to make hits. After 40, he's like, you're probably not going to be able to make hits like before. You're not in touch with younger culture the same way. So you should spend most of your time performing and doing shows.
I think you should, as an artist, from beginning to end, you should focus your whole time on doing the art you love. I don't think, even when we're talking about hits, a hit's a hit. Doesn't necessarily mean you thought about art when you did it. Like, as an artist, you started your artistry for yourself to find something in you that you connected with, that you like, that you love doing, that resonates with your spirit and your soul. Now you make it in the industry and it becomes about hits, charting, a certain amount of success, then you're just a businessman now and you're no longer an artist. I think art is art, no matter how you want to do it. I think you definitely should spend more of your time as you're an elder performing, but I don't think hits should be the criteria of creativeness. I think creative, if you feel creative, you should just go create. Like, you know, I think being a celebrity puts everything in a different perspective in a different box, because also with music is the only art form where you really put an age on. Like, you know what I mean? You don't put an age on painters.
No.
As an actor, you can act from a child to when you about to go in the grave.
Pacino.
Because it's art.
Yeah.
It should be the same with music.
Thanks so much to Styles for a great interview, and thanks to you for listening. Touré Show gives you fuel to power your dreams, because you can use your dreams like a rocket ship to blast you into a life you never imagined. You can make your dreams a reality. Maybe this show can help. You can find me on Twitter sometimes at Touré, definitely on Instagram at Touré Show, on Spill at Touré. Look, this show is written by me, Touré, and produced by Jennifer Brown. Our editor is Ryan Woodhall. Our booker is Claudia Jean. And we're distributed by DCP Entertainment. And we will be back next Wednesday with more amazing guests because the man can't shut us down.